How to set up validation in Tangl Control. To work with selection catalogs, the corresponding window can be activated in the main window, editor of selection catalogs. In the opened window, by pressing plus, you can create a new catalog with the name elements. When making changes, watch the Tangl symbol in the upper left corner. When it stops rotating, the changes are saved in the cloud. You can add a position by pressing the plus symbol. Let's call it elements material. When creating the next position, the system asks what the hierarchy of interaction of positions with the selected one will be. Accordingly, we select subsidiary and call it metal. Further, for the selected position, the next position will have the role next and will be called precast concrete. Let's consider the principles of catalog numbering. By default, depending on the hierarchy of points, the system automatically assigns numbers according to the catalog numbering principle, which however can be changed when editing the catalog. Edit mode can be activated by pressing the following button. Let's create a previous position and we will name it elements volume. Points are immediately renumbered. If you need to make adjustments to the automatic numbering, you can use the manual entry function, with which you can set the position numbers as you wish. After pressing the button Restore Positions, the catalog is formed in the order that manual codes create. Those points that have manual codes are highlighted in blue. Those that do not have manual codes are highlighted in white. When changing the numbers of subsidiary positions, you can resort them by selecting the appropriate tool and the point of the subsidiary position which you want to arrange in the desired order. Let's have a look at the tabs in the catalog's position. We will work with the tabs binding to the selection of elements and control points. Binding to the selection of elements selects among the entire model those elements that we will check, and the control points already carry out the check itself. On the Binding to the Selection of Elements tab, we will create a binding by material with a value containing metal. We use the principle from the previous video. The purple blocks will refer to the material parameter, and the blue blocks will refer to its metal value. Let's check this binding by testing in the viewer window. We choose to copy the binding and then open the view in the viewer. Let's insert the binding into the testing window and run the test for all the elements in the model. We see that all the elements that have metal in their materials are painted over in green, which means that the selection binding works and we can leave it. According to the same principle, we will form a binding by material for all precast concrete elements. Let's check the binding in the viewer. We created with some condition blocks. The first condition is the description containing the value precast, and the second condition is that material containing concrete. So we check all the walls and we see that material of all the walls in the model is precast concrete. And when we checking the whole model, we can see that only walls have materials precast concrete. So it's alright, and we paste our binding to the catalog position. Since the bindings work, we save them, and let's make some control points for this position. For example, for position metal, we will check that all the elements have parameter nominal weight. So we make a binding in the viewer and then paste it to the control points. And we need to set a name. We will name this control point nominal weight, and it will check if elements in this position have such parameter nominal weight. Let's make a control point for the second position. For precast concrete elements, we will check if their length is less than 9,000 millimeters. So we can copy the name of the attribute and then create a control point and paste the name of parameter in the control point. And we can use blue-black with a value less to check if these elements have length less than 9,000 millimeters, and we will name this control point length. And now we're almost ready to make our checks. But the last thing that we need to do is to make every binding quick. You can see the bolt icon at every position. It means that there are a quick binding at this position. Quick binding is that binding that use the equals function and not the contains function and so on. That speeds up the search and saves the resources of the service. So you should necessarily use these quick bindings to make your checks. We added a binding that checks the name of file, and it should be equal the name of file that we are using in our video. After that, we need to save all the positions by clicking the diskette icon. Besides bolt icons, there is the flask icon. This icon symbolizes the presence of a check, which means that we have filled in the control points that have been saved. So the binding setup is finished. In the next video we will go through the analysis of the validation of our model.